Hey guys, so this is my first live stream, and I'm going to be doing this every other week. I'm going to share this time slot with Barb. But today I wanted to talk, I'm going to be talking about groomer problems. It's stuff that we all face in our day-to-day, in the shops, just like in life and in general. It's a tough job, and nobody understands it as much as another groomer. My boyfriend's a cook, and he's on his feet all day long and taking kegs up and down steps at the bar he works at. And it's a physical job. Hey, Mary. But it's not like grooming, and only other groomers really understand. One of the things that's great about the internet is that even if we work alone in our shops or our mobile, we've built a community. Pro Groomer Network, Pet Groomer Town Hall, the Groomies page. There's so many places for us to connect and share and learn. Trade shows, if you can get out and, budget for them. But one of the things that I find when we're in these groups, hi Melissa, is that sometimes we're not in a good mind frame. And I think that that can go beyond being on the internet, because it's easy to type out something from an emotional standpoint and just like what you're feeling in that moment, which may have nothing to do with what you've read. I've had people block me on Pro Groomer Network because I was talking under their comment and it tagged them. And I was kind of like, I didn't do anything. I wasn't attacking someone. I was simply, talking about my experience when I worked for Pedigree. And that person's missing out on me, which, not to toot my own horn, but I like to think that I'm pretty funny, and I'm helpful. I try to be helpful, probably more helpful than I should be. And hey, everyone watching. But that mind frame where we're stressed and we're angry or upset or frustrated, and trust me, tired. We're all tired. So tired. When we carry that on, thanks, Mary. Mary said I was hysterical, and that is true fact, guys. True fact. But when we take those internal emotions and we make them part of how we're interacting with each other, it doesn't just stop when you're typing. It's how you interact. Aw, thanks, Michelle. But it's how you interact with everybody, your customers, the dogs on your table. When you're having a bad day, it's suddenly all the dogs are bad. And that's because they're feeding off your emotion. And groomers, we try to get everybody in when they want to get in, and we bend over backwards and we feel unappreciated. But the customers aren't the ones that are causing us to feel unappreciated. We're causing ourselves to feel unappreciated. So we need to be better as an industry at raising each other up. Because when we put out positive feelings, we're going to get positive feelings back. My shop's very stressful. We work on mainline Philadelphia, which is all richy rich people that want what they want when they want it right now. And my boss, God bless her heart, tries to accommodate these people. And she demats dogs to make them happy, and everything she does is to make somebody else happy instead of herself. And I love her. And sometimes it's too much. We had a rough day yesterday. It was nonstop. Our poor bather's dad got driven to the hospital first thing in the morning, so we were down a bather. We had a groomer at her son's high school graduation. And, we got through the day, but there were points where it was going to be too much. It was getting to be too much, and we're too tired. And I know everyone says you can't pour from an empty cup, and it's, words on a pretty picture, but it's true. And we have to start small. It's not easy to stay positive in the middle of a very busy day, very stressful with customers and dogs and all this energy flowing around you. So when you're online this week and you see things that maybe you don't agree with, and that's okay, because you don't have to do it. You don't. If you don't want to shave down a double-coated dog, you don't have to shave down a double-coated dog. And you can educate somebody why it might not be a good idea, or if they have questions about it, but do it from a positive frame of mind. I joke because I shave them down. I know that there's a chance that the hair might not grow back, but I also know that it's a very slim chance because the dog has to have certain conditions met. And that's okay, but I educate my clients. I don't like doing it. And I don't think that anybody chooses to do it. It's what the client wants. And I educate my client, and if they still say, yes, 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 this is what I want, I do it. It's not my dog. I don't have to look at it. I do what's best for my client and my dog. When you see something online that you don't like, it's okay to respectfully say, I don't agree with that. I don't do that. This is why. Use I statements and a positive frame of mind. Because we are in these groups to connect and to share information, and like, what a great world, right? I have friends in Europe that I've never met in person. I have friends in Australia that have used my dogs in grooming competitions. People I would never meet unless I took a $4,000 flight, which I am not opposed to. And if anybody wants to start me a GoFund, you go right on ahead, because I could use some beach time. But I'd never meet them, if not for Facebook, for the internet. I mean, I was on the Groomers Lounge before Facebook, and that's how I first started with competitions, and I met everybody, and I went to all these trade shows, and it was such a positive place. And everyone there was so helpful and amazing. And Barb Hoover, God bless her, has kept it going. And there's a Facebook group too. Mary was on there. That's how Mary and I first met. But I feel like that was anonymous and people were nicer. Facebook, Chris, you're on there too? Oh, it's the best. Facebook's not anonymous. This is me. This is my face and my name, and you can look at my profile and know where I live-ish or where I work. And people are just mean sometimes. Hey, Courtney. So start small. And don't respond to something when you're upset. Take a breath, eat a Snickers, drink a coffee. Go outside and enjoy the day. Like today is my first day off of my weekend, and it was supposed to be cloudy, and look at this sky, guys. Look at that beautiful sky. You have to take moments for yourself, and you start small, and suddenly your workday's not going to be terrible, because you're in a better frame of mind. And you can say no, and you can disagree, and you can do all the things. Exactly, Michelle. Think before you post. You can edit yourself on Facebook, and you can edit yourself on the Groomers Lounge too. But again, Facebook is you. You on Facebook, it's your face and your name. Facebook won't let you have a fake name, unless, for the most part. Like, some people get away with it. But be the person that you are inside on a day like today on Facebook. Be kind. Open and hold open doors for people online. If I can't help someone, I usually know who can. If I can help someone, I do. And, you know, maybe I'm giving away a gift for free, but it's a gift. And I would like to think that eventually I'm going to get that all back. And it's okay if I don't, because I'm not doing it for that reason. And I've been guilty of bad behavior on the internet, for sure. I've been sarcastically funny, but kind of mean. And I've gotten into fights with people. I have. And I've tried to stop, because I realized that it wasn't giving me anything. So now I'm trying to do things that give me something. And by that, I mean something in my soul. Like something that makes me passionate about my career. Because for a while, I didn't want to groom. I hated grooming. It made me stressed out. I missed my office job, which I had for 2 years. I've been grooming for 15. There is no reason on God's green earth I would miss the office job, because clearly I didn't love it. But I love grooming, and I love groomers, and just sometimes on the internet, people get so in their own head. Oh, good, Mary. See? I'm giving. Mary said, thanks for the inspiration for my live streams tomorrow night on the importance of meditation. But it's true, and I'm not a good meditator, and I am not good at yoga. Yoga makes other people calm, and I totally get yoga glow. I do. But I am not a still person on the inside. I'm sure that I have some kind of anxiety disorder. I'm sure. I cry a lot. I cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm sad. I cry when I'm frustrated, angry. Like, crying is my modus operandi. However, I've tried to take all of my negative feelings, anything that makes me scared or frustrated or upset, take that all in and breathe it out. And I take all that energy that anxiety gives you, that nervous, like, I'm going to fight something, I need to run away, and do something positive with it. So I work on my dog. I work on my website, which is right now helenproblems.com. I have one for my business, which I sold to move to Indiana. So, but I've held on to it because the groom studio, I poured a lot of heart into it, and it's something I'm very proud of. But I'm going to switch that up, and I'm going to make it something else, which you'll see. Yes, Melissa. Yeah, crying is very cathartic, and sometimes I'm externally calm, if that makes sense, for the most part. But then I get to that point, to that like high point, and it just leaks. But throughout my day, working on dogs, and, you know, my boss, she likes to, she's very, very much about her clients. And I love that about her. And sometimes she comes over and she's like, well, you need to do this. And I'm like, well, I didn't do that yet. And she sees it as like, I'm not talking back, but like, oh, I'm a know-it-all. Yeah, no, I know I need to do that. And sometimes I feel like she's micromanaging, and that's just because of the shop stress. It's just our day-to-day stress. And instead of it being like, okay, we're just stressed because we're on time crunches and we haven't eaten and we all like need a Snickers or whatever, it becomes a person-to-person vibe. And when that happens, I have a terrible face. My face speaks out loud when it should not at all. And so I try to like not make a face, which is hard, and realize in that moment, instead of reacting to what I'm feeling, I react to the actual situation. And again, on Facebook, so many people respond to the actual emotion they're feeling in that moment. In that moment, they're responding to the moment and not the whole thing. And what you feel may not be appropriate to respond to what you're reading. Everyone reads things through their own lens. So if you think somebody is trying to be mean, you're going to read their post and you're going to think, ugh, they were totally talking about me. If you're happy and somebody writes something, you're going to be like, yes, no, I feel that too. And you're reading through your emotional lens. And that's okay. We all do it. Don't respond through the emotional lens. Take a moment, take a breath, and respond from your heart in a positive spot. Even a neutral spot. There's plenty of things that are neutral. Like, you know, a lot of people, and examples of what I'm talking about is when there's a dog that's injured or someone says something about a bad groomer in their town, a lot of people automatically say, oh, well, corporate groomers, blah, 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 blah. Listen, I worked at PetSmart for 5 years. That's where I started grooming. And that is insulting to me. Because PetSmart is literally the hardest place ever to be mean to a dog. They will kick you out of that salon so damn fast because they have a reputation. They don't want to be sued every other day. They don't have heat dryers. They didn't have heat dryers when I started grooming 15 years ago. They certainly didn't get them now. You know, people are watching those groomers all the time. They're in a glass bubble. And I'm not saying that every corporate groomer is great. They're not. A lot of them, you know, they kind of fell into the job and whatever, and not everybody makes it. But not everybody's made to be a groomer. But the people in the Facebook groups on these threads that you're responding to, they are groomers. That's our community. We're in a fraternity of groomers. A sorority, well, a fraternity has boys and girls, so don't anybody get insulted. And non-binary people. For anybody else, happy Pride Month, everyone who's celebrating or not. Just, that's family. That's our family. And you could not agree with family. You can not agree with everything that your family does. But you should always try to help people from love. And there are some new groomers that don't know what they're doing. They haven't had a good start. You know, they use Dawn dish soap on the whole dog or whatever. And that's okay if you don't, and they don't know any better. Or they, you know, don't have any control over what they use. Speak from love. Because when you speak from love, your day is going to be better. You're going to have blue skies. Even when the weatherman said it was going to be cloudy. See, I did this. But just be there for each other. Be there in a positive way so that more positivity comes through. And you don't have to be spiritual. You don't have to believe in God. But you definitely have to believe in connections. Like, people are all connected. And you never know when that person that you're being mean to, or maybe even just not very nice, you're going to need them. You never know. There was a girl, there was a woman, rather, and her and I got into a little fight, a little private fight, and now, this past year, we've actually become pretty good friends. And I would have missed out on that person, and she would have missed out on me if we never resolved to be positive, to try. You know, she had me blocked on Facebook for a little bit, and she unblocked me, and, you know, I now have somebody that's a really good friend that I really enjoy that my first interaction, I spent reacting to a situation from an emotional standpoint, and I was feeling a negative emotion. Whereas versus just saying something, like, hey, I didn't appreciate that this happened. If I had taken a step back and not gone full biatch mode on her, where I thought it was a situation, but where I emotionally felt like I was being attacked by her, I never really looked at it from her side until later. And that's the kind of bad behavior I'm talking about. And I'm guilty. We're all guilty. We're people. We're humans. We're all humans. And that's what we need to remember when we're on these Facebook groups, when we're private messaging with people. Facebook's not anonymous. That's your face. That's my face. These are my words. And I can edit comments later. I can delete things. I can block people and pretend it never happened. But once it's out, it's out. And I guarantee you, if you are juicy enough or mean enough, or you say something really funny but it's mean, there's a screenshot. Everybody screenshots. And so just pretend whenever you're about to type a response that somebody's screenshotting that it's going to be there for the world to see forever. So think before we type. Send love out and support each other. And, stand up. Stand up for people that, maybe you see something and you don't agree with that person and somebody's cutting into them pretty hard. Stop their behavior. We ask that of so many things in our society, that the way to stop, sexual harassment is to have people say, no, that's not cool, and call them out. And you can do that in a positive manner. You can say, well, I see so-and-so thinks this, and I agree with them, but I don't agree with their behavior. It wasn't right for them to say this about you, but maybe you want to think about it in this way. And so you're addressing the original post, and also somebody being kind of crappy to someone. And we don't need to be crappy to each other. There's enough crap in the world. And the original poster, if you're that person, you don't need to take anybody's advice. But you don't need to argue with any advice given either. It's just advice. I've been given so much advice about my Cocker Spaniels and my Poodles and my Bichons. I stopped competing with Bichons for a while because everybody's voice was in my head because I was trying to take everyone's advice. And I give advice all the time. And I don't expect somebody to be like, yes, she's the gospel. I'm not. I'm trying to make Groom Team. I'm not on it. I'm not an international speaker. I'm just a nobody from Pennsylvania that has opinions. And I have a lot of experience, and I'm glad to share that experience. But if somebody with more experience that you admire their grooming more comes along and tells you something different, well, try their method. That's the thing with advice. You don't have to take it. You don't have to take it. You just have to say thank you. And if it sounds like something you want to try, try it. And if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. You don't have to be mean to people. We don't have to be mean to each other. We just be. Thanks, Chris, but I feel like nobody most days. I'm just a groomer too. We're all just groomers. And no one's going to understand this job as much as each other. So just try, especially this week. It's summertime and everybody's getting so much vitamin D, and it's great for, your skin and mostly just your emotional support system internally. Your immune system needs that. And I'm a big proponent of artificial vitamin D. It's not as good as sunshine vitamin D, Wear sunscreen though. Just 15 minutes of exposure 3 times a week. Don't get skin cancer if you're prone, blah, 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 blah. But get outside, fresh air, sunshine. Even if, especially during a really busy day when you're like, I can't stop. Like, I've held my pee so long some days that my kidneys hurt. And that is not going to be good for me when I'm 60. So this week coming up, let's all try to be more positive. When you're having a really hard day and the dogs are being bad and your coworkers are on your nerves and you see something on Facebook that just gets you so red, put the dog away. Go outside. Look up at the sun. If it's raining, peek your head out the door and scream. Nobody will hear it. It's fine. Let it go. You know, just let the negative go. Take a breath and reset. And that's my advice for this groomer problem of being in a good mind frame. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. I'll be at Pet Quest, so we'll be talking about groomer problems then, which I'm sure there will be some from the weekend. Bye.